Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting a like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. But let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now today's first story comes from Appropriate Elk 2603 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit. Does have an update of course, and says, am I the arsehole here for telling my brother he cannot stay with me over Christmas if he brings his prosthetic leg? My younger brother has a prosthetic leg. I think it's creepy as fuck and I have no idea where he got it from. I'm reasonably certain that it is something I would rather not know. To be clear here, my brother has two perfectly healthy legs still attached to his body. Hey, what now? He just has this thing he takes with him everywhere. I don't know why. I don't want to know. Before you ask, yeah, it's probably a mental health thing. He wanted to stay with me rather than our parents while he is home for the holidays. I said he was welcome to stay as long as he doesn't bring that thing into my house. He said it wasn't a big deal and that he would leave it in his luggage. I agreed on the condition that if I saw it outside of his luggage in my home, then I had the right to destroy it. He backtracked on staying with me and is at our parents' house, where he is miserable. They still treat him like a little boy instead of a guy who is almost 30. He called me again after supper and asked to please stay with me. I said he could as long as we, together, took his thing and put it into a storage unit until he leaves. I get the key. He won't do it. He says that I'm being a bitch for not letting him stay with me. I think he needs to get therapy or medication or both, or a girlfriend, boyfriend, dog, cat, hamster, something. Just not a GD prosthetic leg. Now, I think the top comment on this one's going to sum up a lot of people's thoughts. It certainly summed up mine. This was from Bodybuilder Kitchen 45, by the way. Progression of my reactions. Title, oh yeah, you fucking suck. Of course, we're all going to think that, right? First paragraph, what do you mean? Second paragraph, huh? Third paragraph to the end, the fuck? Captain Shan says, I know, right? I was like, that's really mean. Oh, he has two whole legs. Chris 1986 says, I know this is extremely distressing for you, but I'm laughing so hard. At first I was like, is this arsehole serious? She won't let her brother bring his leg. Like his whole ass leg he needs to walk on because he's literally lost a leg in some horrible accident. But then you clarified both he has healthy legs and are still attached, and I lost it. Not the arsehole, but you and I are not the same. I would need to know. All of it. Where did you get it? Why do you have it? What do you do with it? Did you steal it off a bum or something? Then I would stare at him uncomfortably until he broke and told it all to me. I may later regret my decision, but I don't often think that far into the future when something catches my attention. Polly says an emotional support prosthetic leg. That's a new one. Fantastic Warning says her brother won it in a raffle and it came all the way from France in a crate marked fragile. The leg is actually a lamp and it wears a black fishnet stocking, a black high heel shoe, and a fringed lampshade. Dan says, I'm a prosthesist and I have to ask, what does this leg even look like? Below knee or above knee? Does it just have the pylon bare? Or is there a foam covering so that sort of looks like a leg? Is there a foot shell on it? Or is the foot component just sort of hanging out? The reason I'm asking is because A, prosthetic anything is mind-bogglingly expensive, and B, you can't just have a prosthetic leg if you have two perfectly healthy legs. You literally need a stump to make one that's specifically yours. Did your brother receive it from someone? Did he steal it? And just to be sure, it's an actual prosthesis and not a leg brace of some kind. I've had patients and their families make that mistake before. OP says it looks like a carbon fiber cup with a steel knee and lower leg and foot. Dan then replies to OP and says AK prostheses are not cheap. There's an entire car right there. I would actually grill your bro on where he got it because it is 100% not his. If he stole it, he's looking at a felony/grand theft charges. If he bought it, check his and your parents' financials because again, these things are insanely expensive and he doesn't sound like the brightest bulb. Make sure he does not try to sell the prostheses or any of its components. I get that they can be hard to get for the people who need them the most, but if the components are damaged in any way, it can lead to gnarly injuries for when they inevitably fail. If you truly do want to get rid of it, there are organizations out there that will take old prostheses and refurbish them. I love it when an expert on specific subjects join the chat. Gin and Tonic with Dog says, out of interest, what happens to prosthetics when their owner dies? Do they get refitted to someone else? Not the arsehole for not wanting it in your house though. Opie says, unfortunately, the vast majority get tossed. The socket is specific to the owner and you can't really adjust them to someone else's limb due to the material and the fact that everyone else's stump is different. Components such as the knee and foot are technically reusable, but a lot of the time they've been used enough you can't pass them on with a good conscience. The only times I've ever seen components reused is if the patient tried them on during test fittings and they didn't like it, basically less than 1 hour of use, or they happened to pass away before they even got to put them on. But OP did come in with a short update around 11 days later and says, I didn't realize how much attention this was going to get, enough that someone informed the woman my brother stole it from, and she was able to figure out what happened. She called the cops and he got arrested. I guess he was sort of trying to do the thing where he could be the hero that tracked down her leg. Please don't ask me what the fuck was going through his head. The leg was expensive enough that he is facing real criminal charges. That's all. Sorry there's not more to tell. A couple of comments on the back of that gold Magikarp says, I remember reading this originally and wondering why the hell he needed to take that leg around everywhere with him. I feel like he would have returned it way sooner if he wanted to play the hero. Potential Speech says, that's wild. I wonder why he wanted to bring it with him though. Is he obsessed with the woman he has to carry the leg with him all the time? I mean, stealing it is one thing, but carrying it around all the time. If he tried to be the hero, he could have hid it. Sounds more like a weird obsession. I don't think he wanted to give it back to be the hero. I have so many questions, but I'm glad the woman will get her leg back. This is something I never thought I would ever say. I think I'm with those comments there. It doesn't feel like he was trying to play the hero at all. I mean, why did he have to take it around everywhere with him? What was the end game in this? So many questions, but I think we still got enough info in that particular update. Holy moly. My thoughts also go to the lady that owned the leg as well. How terrifying must that have been for her? That you rely on like that just be stolen. It must be absolutely terrifying for that person. And how long has he had that leg for? It sounds like because, OP was like, you can't bring that thing with you. Like he's been carrying it around for quite a while, it felt like. And did the parents know about this leg? Why is everyone cool with this guy just carrying a leg around? But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. I'm asking you, what do you think about this situation? I imagine you're just like I am right now. I'm like, what the fuck? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, over on Twitter this morning, I had a little notification from Karen, who shared a story with us, which is titled, My Mother Has Sticky Fingers. It does have an update as well from Competitive Oil 5227 from the r/hotels subreddit. Ooh, I like a different subreddit, I'm excited. So, my mother has sticky fingers. Today, I got a package in the post from my mother, which was odd, as she just came to visit me in Chicago over Christmas. I open it and there's a 2-foot tall, excuse the pronunciation here, Baccarat crystal vase and a post-it note that says, please call me Love Mum, stuck to it. I'm perplexed as I'm not a fancy crystal vase kind of guy. Well, turns out that she was staying in a fancy suite at a hotel over Christmas that had this object displayed and she took a liking to it. So much so that she took it with her. As I looked at it, I could see chunks of that white putty that people use to stick things down with, so she literally must have pried it off. And the hotel noticed, as they added a $1,200 line item to the bill that arrived. My mother apparently does not like it that much. She also removed a robe, but I guess she is okay with paying $125 for that item as it was not included in her package. So it's now my job to take this back to the hotel and explain to some poor desk person that my mother took it in error and could you please remove it from the bill. Please tell me that they will do this. If they don't, I will feel the full wrath of an old lady, as anything less than a refund will be seen as a failure on my part. So some of the comments on this one, Objective Welcome 73 says, call hotel, explain mum has a mental challenge and offer to bring it in. Apologize and throw your mum under the bus and hope they pity her, or pity you. Lingonberry Prior 6896 says, let them know she's being evaluated for dementia. Of course, she can't stay there again. Amanda Maelstrom says, if you call, explain and apologize up and down. Hotel management might let it go. I tend to be a lot more sympathetic to the long-suffering family members of my problem guest than said guests themselves. Just make it clear that you are mortified by your mother's behavior. But on a ranty tangent, why can't people stop stealing our decorations? We try so damn hard to make our hotels pretty and welcoming, and guests just keep ruining it. They stole my cute little bobble-headed leprechauns on St. Patrick's Day. They unscrewed the pineapples atop the luggage cars. They somehow carried off gorgeous antique model ship that was nailed to the fireplace mantle. They tried to steal a whole sofa from the conference center. I think the worst was a few weeks ago when a guest stole all of the shower curtain rings. Just the rings. They folded up the shower curtain. I'm just saying, if anyone thinks that modern hotels lack charm, there's a damn good reason why. All of our charm got freaking stolen. Oh man, people who work in hotels must have stories. You know, if you ever on my Twitter, you see that sometimes I go out into London and visit some sites there pretty much on a yearly basis now. I always stay in like a decent-ish hotel because it's always nice to just chill and relax in these places. But they've always got like beautiful decorations. And OP talking about the long boat, the boat being nailed down on the mantelpiece. The hotel I just stayed in just before Christmas had a massive boat there, and I thought, wow, it's like a ship in a bottle kind of thing. And I thought, I'd love that decoration. Obviously I wasn't going to steal it, but I thought that's a really cool decoration. And it just had me thinking when OP was talking there, that must be a daily occurrence about people just like taking shit from hotels. I wonder how often these people get away with it as well. Core hotel stories, exciting. But OP came into the post one day later and said, to recap, my mum stole a very large and very expensive vase from a hotel suite. The hotel added it to her bill and sent it back to me to return. I took all your advice and walked into the hotel with a full intention of claiming my mum has dementia and didn't know what she was doing. And honestly, with the size of the vase, it seemed very plausible. I also knew to ask for the shift manager and had worried I was about to go down to felony theft. I put a paper check in my wallet just in case I ended up having to pay for something and put on my nice overcoat. The entire drive downtown I was cursing my mother. But anyone on here with an 83-year-old stereotypical Jewish mum will know that sometimes you just have to do things as the fallout from her would be worse than anything a hotel could dish out. The front desk fellow couldn't have been nicer. When I gestured to the box, he didn't even ask why I needed to see the shift manager. Just asked me to wait while he was paged. The shift manager arrives. I open the box and display the vase inside. It still had a post-it that said, please call me Love Mum on it. Before I even got half my story out, he excuses himself and disappears. The desk fellow walks over and asks if I'd like to sit down and takes me to this little area with a desk and offers me a coffee. I'm now imagining that the police have been called and I'm triple cursing my mum. In walks a fellow who is the hotel general manager. I hear that Mrs. X has sent the case back. Is everything okay? I start in on the dementia story. He stops me. I first met your mother in 1982 when I started working here. There was a young boy who had climbed into the lobby fountain and was about to urinate on the statue, and your mother asked me to fish him out as she was wearing difficult shoes. I'm guessing that was you. I'm confused, but tell the fellow that was my brother and the story had become a family legend. The guy continues. She has a hobby of removing things during her stay, and we have historically just added them to her bill. Am I to take it she does not want to keep this? I'm thinking, how much money has she spent on stolen towels and other hotel crap? And all I can do is thank the fellow for looking out for her. He follows up with, when she was here last year, I worried that maybe the last time we would see her. It made my Christmas the day I saw her reservation request, which was about the nicest way anyone could say your mum is very old. I'll be checking her luggage next time. Pilot says on this, I love that this turned into a 41-year-old cat and mouse game your mum and that general manager have been playing. Very lucky he has been understanding. Gullible Toe says any hotel that keeps that same general manager for 40 plus years and is still in business seems like a really awesome place to stay. Holiday Pen says probably wasn't the general manager but worked his way up. Like first job as a bellhop in 82 at 18, is now the general manager and has been for 15 years. Which means they were a good place to work at multiple levels of the hotel in his career, which is even better honestly. OP replies to that and says, I left out a few of the less attractive parts of the story, like the fact that she had mailed the thing back to me in a 1990s box that once held a Sears vacuum cleaner, which had people glaring at me, and the fact that the valet guy charged me $45 to hold my car for 20 minutes to make it a little more appealing. The entire phone call I had with her when this project got dumped on me was, well, acerbic. Textile Factory says, I take it she's a well-off klepto. Money excuses a lot in this world. OP says, the crap that my mum always routinely gotten away with is astonishingly simply because she looks very well heeled. I used to dread school events when I was a kid because of how weird she treated people. Like she wouldn't even take the time to be demeaning to people. She just honestly didn't notice most people that were around her. Now that she is old, she totally abuses that as well. People end up doing things for her simply because she makes it obvious she expects them to, and you can't say no to old ladies. Sploot Fluff says, this makes the story even better. How many family heirlooms are from the hotel? OP says it makes me think that a large collection of decanters at her house might have a dodgy backstory. I can remember asking her once why one of them was monogrammed QE2 and her telling me that it was a gift from a ship captain. That may have been the origin, but it probably wasn't a gift the ship was aware of making. Off My Rocker says, but wait, did he take the vase back? Did your mum have to pay for it after all? Inquiring minds want to know. OP says, I think they took it back. I definitely left it sitting on the table I was at. If that actually becomes a refund to her credit card is the question. Never Done, Never Ready says, this reminds me of the book Montana, 1948. A lady keeps shoplifting and the husband goes to all the stores and pays for what she steals. I hope your story is true. I don't think so, but you're a decent writer and should continue. OP says it's very true. I omitted some of the tedious and frustrating bits and made my mum sound a lot friendlier than she is in reality. A sort of sad undertone to it all. We have to have a family meeting earlier this year because my mum has absolutely blown through money on truly ridiculous things. Excluding her purloined items, the hotel bill for her 1 week stay was still more than my entire monthly income, and it's very possible that we still have to sell her home to pay for care. Had she been even slightly less extravagant with things, she would have been able to die in bed at home with private nurses. And Barb PG asks, saying, so was it your brother or was it really you in the fountain? Your mum sounds like the best kind of character. How awesome that they remember her for so many years. OP says it was for sure my brother. In my father's version of the story, my mum was pregnant with me at the time with swollen feet and refused to wear tennis shoes, and he had to help wedge her feet into heels. In my godmother's version, who lived in a condo above the hotel, my mum's doctor had said it was okay for her to resume drinking at the 8-month mark, though her feet were both swollen and she was not quite sober. And I think it's fair to say there was a mix of comments on this particular story. Some people saying they absolutely love the update to this people. Other people saying that, you know, she's gotten away her whole life without consequences here. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's have one more story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update as yet, from Mysterious Macaroon, who says, Am I the arsehole for ordering food to go when my friend group wanted to split the check evenly? This has been an ongoing issue. I have a friends group that likes to eat nicer food. Personally for me, I am fine getting something cheap on the menu. The issue is always they want to split the check. I've had the conversation so many times that I want to pay for what I ordered. It results in an argument where I have to bend or everyone is mad at me. I also make a lot more than my friends, so it always results in them basically calling me cheap. They don't get I want to pay for my meal and that is it. Anyways, we went out to eat yesterday and they all ordered things that were around $30. I got the house salad and my total was around $12. They told the server to split the bill and I didn't want to fight about it again. I asked the server to add onto the bill an entree and dessert for me to take home. This resulted in my bill going up to $30. So they asked me what I was doing. I told them I'm getting some more food. They got upset I increased the price they needed to pay. This resulted in another argument, and they think I am a jerk. Edit. Reddit, I've done everything you suggested. I had the server take mine out and I pay for it. I have spoken to them. If I do anything that isn't splitting the bill with them, they get pissed. I'm going to start with Luna, who says, you're doing it wrong. You will only have to do this once. Since you can afford it, start ordering the most expensive items and a nice bottle of wine and smile and say, since we're splitting the bill evenly, problem solved. Mert Blake says, not the arsehole, but when you first arrive, it'd be helpful for you to tell the staff that you're on your own check. If they prefer to split the bill, they can, but you don't have to. Also, your friends kinda suck. Swift like Taylor Swift says, not the arsehole, 100% not the arsehole. I feel this in my bones. I was on vacation with some extended family and we went out for most of our meals alongside some of their friends who I did not know. Most of them 30 plus years my senior and highly successful in their fields of work. I'm talking owns a beach house wealthy. They'd basically play dumb. Oh, I dunno, what's the total come to? $300 for 6 of us. Let's just pay $50 each. It's too hard to calculate it. Meanwhile, they've ordered several bottles of wine and had at least 2 dishes each, whilst I've had 1 simple dish and 1 to 2 non-alcoholic beverages at most, sometimes just water. I had to insist that it's very simple math, but if it's too much trouble, I'm more than happy to calculate everyone's individual totals to save them the burden, they explained was their reasoning. My total would end up being 20 plus a generous 20 to 30% tip, and theirs would all be $55 plus, give or take. I always ensured my tip was not factored into their math because they'd try that too. Gaslighting is real when you're told that fussing over $30 is so silly, but their bills only went up by $3 to $10 each when they required to pay for what they actually ordered. I just hit them with, if $30 is nothing, $3 is dust, is it not? And they accepted it after that particular meal. A 2-week vacation dining out twice a day and overpaying by $30 per meal is over $800 of stolen money. No thanks. I always find it really shitty that friends as well, like if a friend said to me that I don't want to like combine bills or whatever, I want to split the bill, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely, of course. But how would you deal with this particular situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.